Am I the a-hole for telling my mom she could hold her grandchild at my funeral? So, I, 28 female, cannot have kids without death or serious injury and passionately do not want them. Nor does my husband. And no, before anyone assumes we're kid-hating monsters, we don't dislike kids. We have a combined total of 8 nieces and nephews, all of whom we love dearly. They just can't live in our house. My mother, bless her heart, is currently infected with baby rabies. Her friends keep getting grandkids, and the best I'm willing to do is dogs. Yesterday, I was talking on the phone with my mom, and she casually brings up how nice it would be to have a baby around. Now, I have a policy for people trying to pry about my reproductive affairs, and that policy is to make them as unfreaking comfortable as I can so they never ask again. My mom has never been on the receiving end, but she has seen me do it. The first time I'm like, nah, too much work, and they don't even get cute for like 3 years. Puppies are born cute and stay cute. But she kept pressing things like, dogs won't love you like kids do, and here's where I may be the a-hole. I snapped and said, well, if you want a baby that bad, I can make sure to put it in my will that you can hold it through my funeral. My mom just made a noise like a mouse being stepped on and hung up on me. She now is refusing to answer any of my text messages about anything. I might have overreacted, just a little, and she's my mom. So, am I the a-hole? Edit. Yes, my mom knows about the health conditions. I was born with them, and they've worsened over time. I'm very transparent about not being able to have / not wanting kids, but I do love the kids in my life. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. You tried handling this with tact. Your mother pursued the topic and you told her exactly what would happen should you decide to ever have children. You would die. I don't see what she has to complain about when there are 8 other children running around. Why does she need a baby from you? I'm her only biological kid. She won't feel like a grandma till I pop one out apparently. Wow, that is very cold. Do your siblings know the stance that your mother has taken regarding biological grandchildren? No, my mom dotes on my siblings' kids. She adores them, really. Part of the 8 total are on my husband's side. And I have 2 half-siblings I didn't meet until I was 23, and they have kids. I'm on the same boat as you, so I'm going with a firm not the a-hole. What is it with people not respecting someone's choice and not having kids? Just because we are made to reproduce does not mean we should have to. The thing I hate most about people who don't accept the no are those who say, oh, you were young. Wait for your biological clock to kick. As if saying, okay, Barb, whatever you say. I'm going with not the a-hole on this. Yes, it was over the top, but I salute your willingness to commit to something like that. She's your mom, and she's seen you deal with this in the past. So I don't get how / why she would think it would go any other way. And why should twist a knife into you for something that more than likely hurts like hell when you learned it? It hurt a lot initially. I was devastated. Because in the area where I live, people usually start having kids pretty young, and everything has to be kid-friendly. But about the time nephews started coming, I realized that I really dislike taking care of babies. And by the time I got to college, I discovered how much fun it is to be the cool wine aunt. But every so often, it still hurts, especially when my mom presses the issue. Edit. So, my mom did message me back and apologized. She'd also like us to come around 12 p.m. to tidy up the yard, and she's going to pay us with lunch and beer. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for not getting to know my nephew and niece and not wanting to bring them into my home? I, 27 female, have an older sister, 28 female. We're 18 months apart in age. I have a 2-year-old son, she has a 5-year-old son, and a 3-year-old daughter. I have never met her kids. My sister and I never got along, and I'll be honest that I don't know why it started. Petty stuff more than likely, but I'll always remember that my sister wished I had never been born. She told me multiple times. She told my friends too. Our parents really hated it, and I remember all the times she would talk to us about not having to be best friends, but we should be respectful and not mean. We went to therapy, individually and together. They tried to get our cousins to help things, not by forcing time together, but by trying to encourage less hostility. When I graduated high school, she didn't show up, and she got a lot of crap for it. And then when she showed up at our cousin's graduation a week later, in a different city, she made her feelings very clear. That I should not have sent our family after her. I didn't, but she blamed me. And that if she hadn't been clear before that she never wanted me for her sister, she wished I had never been born, and everyone would have been better off without me around. Ask her what I ever did. She told me she didn't have to tell me anything and to leave her alone. So I did, and I have. She refused to bring her kids around me. She would give ultimatums to family, either invite her and exclude me or invite us both, but she would not be there. She had a fit at our grandmother's 70th birthday because Grandma wanted her to come anyway. And she showed up and wouldn't bring her son in, who was a baby at the time, because I was there. It seems now she has calmed a little. Our parents babysit for her, and they have shown me texts where she told them it was okay to have me around them. They ask, but I said no. I said no for 2 reasons. I know that she would stop that access at any time, for any reason, and I could do nothing about it. And I'm worried if she did that, it would hurt my son as he gets older and if he got to bond with them. I should also point out she had a very nasty response when my parents tried getting her to meet him. My parents don't get my refusal. They told me I should jump at the chance. Then a week ago, they asked me to watch the kids for 2 hours for them. I said no. I said I didn't feel comfortable with that. My parents tore me to pieces for not doing more to have a relationship with my niece and nephew, and that I should be ashamed. I am having some guilt about my decision. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. You are under no obligations to rebuild bridges other people burned. Yeah, some people like walking with a can of gasoline spilling behind them and let's match in their other hand. You do not need to put time and resources rebuilding the bridge when they will just burn it back down again. Not the a-hole. She has hurt you repeatedly in the past and damaged your relationship. It's entirely your choice whether you want to try repairing it or not. But honestly, given that she hasn't even offered an apology, it doesn't seem that it would be worth it. And your parents should stay out of it since you're a grown adult and can handle relationships yourself. She doesn't want to repair her relationship with me. She's just open to me meeting her kids. That is what partly worries me more. Would she use her kids to hurt me more? Probably. It's possible she just wants a free babysitter. Not the a-hole. Your sister is a toxic and manipulative woman. Parents as well, in my opinion, by continually trying to force Opie to just get over it and pushing boundaries. This isn't run-of-the-mill sibling bickering. I'd bet Opie's sister would be livid if she found out Opie's mom tried to get her to babysit those kids alone. Like, it's great they got them into therapy, but they're nearing 30 now. And as inconvenient as it is for the rest of the family to have to deal with their unwillingness to even be under the same roof as each other, they need to stop trying to force it. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to share baby stuff with my stepsister because we're never going to know each other as sisters? Title sounds bad. My stepsister and I have been in each other's lives since we were 2, me and her 3. For the first decade, we primarily lived with each other in the household with our married parents. She saw her mom on occasion, but in general lived with me, mom, and stepdad. The times she was with her mom were pretty terrible because she would come back adamant to reject and hurt me. One time, she told me she hoped I would die, so her dad would let her live with her mom. My stepdad had her in therapy. Most of our time together was spent with some form of supervision because of how she treated me. When she was 15 then, she decided to go live with her mom and cut me off, even going to the length of ignoring me in school and acting like it didn't exist. When she was 19, she started speaking to my stepdad and mom again, and over time, me. But she never really stopped being passive-aggressive about us not being related. She would say I was her dad's stepkid, or say I was someone she knew through family when talking to other people. I admit it was hard because we could have been sisters, but she didn't want that or was taught not to want it. As luck would have it, we're now both pregnant at the same time. She's due about 3 weeks after me, and she's been trying to be all buddy-buddy while also saying things like, they're never going to know each other as cousins, and it's not like we're real sisters. So I think she's mostly trying to get free stuff. I ended up with a surplus of clothes because my partner has a huge family, and they all gave us a ton of newborn clothes. My stepdad was helping me box stuff up, and he mentioned it to my stepsister who wanted them. I said no. She said it was witchy for me to say no when I had too many to use. I told her I had already promised some to a friend, which was true. She told me family trumps friends. I said, we're never going to know each other as sisters, so we're not really family. And she laughed, but then told my stepdad what I said. He told me the fact she was asking said she was maybe ready to move forward. I told him it's not true. But am I wrong? Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Don't give her a thing. She's being manipulative. Yep. She can't treat you like crap for so long and then try to be all let's be friends. That's dumb. Don't give her the baby's clothes. Find a way to make it clear to your stepdad that she just wants stuff from you and tell him about her previous comments. Not the a-hole. Exactly. If she really wanted to be family and put her past behind her, she would first apologize, then try to build a relationship without trying to get free stuff from you to prove she's sincere. She's only after your stuff. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. She's clearly trying to play you and your stepdad off against each other. This is a sad situation. It's obvious that her mother has been teaching her to hate you all her life, probably to get back at your stepdad for leaving, and now your stepsister is an adult. She either hasn't figured this out or can't be bothered to do anything about it. But that's not your issue. Regardless of the cause, she's a deeply toxic person for you to be around, and you're fully justified in limiting your contact with her as much as possible. Hopefully, she'll realize what's going on here and what it's costing her and do the work to deal with her toxicity. I wouldn't count on it though. Not the a-hole. She isn't ready to move on. She's ready to get free handouts. Exactly. Not the a-hole. You are perfectly entitled to enforce the boundaries she created and also give your things to people of your choosing. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my grandparents that they need to F off and stop asking when they're getting great grandchildren? My 17 female grandparents on my dad's side are obsessed with the idea of having great grandchildren. They generally ask and do a lot of things that make me uncomfortable, like asking about very personal things and constantly overstepping boundaries. I have two sisters, a younger one, 15, and an older one, 19. My dad cut contact with his parents when I was around 7 or 8, but after him and my mother divorced, he started talking to them again. My older sister invited them to her 19th birthday last year, and that was the first time we saw them in 8 years or so. My grandpa's a speech type of guy, or whatever you'd call it, so he wrote a speech to her. He included a joke in the speech that was something along the lines of, "Oh, and your grandma and I better get some great grandkids before we expire." I'm not even sure if she wants kids or not. Not that it's even any of my business, but I remember how uncomfortable she looked after my grandpa told that joke. Every time we've seen them since my sister's birthday, they've made some comments or conversation about great grandkids. My sister doesn't like confrontation, so she made my dad talk to them about how it makes her uncomfortable. It makes him uncomfortable too, lol. They told him they understood and that they'd stop doing it. But they didn't. I've also confronted them about it, but they always just laugh it off. They crossed the line completely 2 weeks ago. It was my birthday, and they had bought me a gift that they gave to my dad a few days in advance because they were going on vacation. When I opened the gift from them and read a birthday card, it said something that roughly translates to, "Now you're almost of age to give us those great grandkids your sister won't give us." As if my sister or I owe them anything. We don't owe them crap. My dad got really mad and called them on the phone. As soon as they picked up, I asked him if I could talk to them. He gave me the phone, and it was my grandma. She said, "Happy birthday, Cherimus. Did you like the gift?" I ignored what she said entirely and just started ranting and said, "You want to know something? I don't want kids. And if I ever do decide to have kids, I'm gonna adopt." She sounded completely shocked, as if it was completely natural for me to not want biological kids. She then proceeded to ask me if it was because I was gay. I told her to F off, and that it's messed up that they're so obsessed about great-grandchildren when my sisters and I, their grandchildren, are literally all still teenagers. Then I hung up and told my dad that if he was gonna call them back, He better not do it while I was there. I regret what I said to her, and that I haven't even thanked them for the gift yet. I'm just super embarrassed about how I talked to her. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Her retort asking if you were gay as the reason for not having children deserves a fiery response in kind. I see why your father went no contact for a while, and maybe you should follow his lead. I'm thinking about it, but I don't want to make them feel bad, especially because they're already really sad about missing out on so much of me and my sister's childhoods. And yes, the gay comment was really just the last straw for me. I'm thinking about it, but I don't want to make them feel bad. Then they should stop acting bad. There is a reason your dad went no contact, and you are seeing some of it now. Ask him about it, if it's not too touchy of a subject. Not the a-hole. I actually laughed when I read that part. Sometimes people just need to be told leave you alone with a few curse words. Glad I could make you laugh, haha. And yeah, it's just... I don't know, on one hand I feel like they had it coming, but on the other hand I might have overreacted. WTF? Your sister is 19 and they're pushing kids? You are 17 and they're pushing? That's weird. I get that they're from another time or whatevs, but you really should not even think about having kids right now. And even if you were older, it's annoying and none of their business. They can wish grandchildren if they want, but there's no way this kind of pushing is okay. I'm so baffled because you're so young. Not the a-hole at all.